Social media giant Reddit adds Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Matic to its balance sheet. This is huge adoption news. And Kraken Exchange is going on the offensive against the SEC and Gary Gensler. They have filed a lawsuit against the SEC, and Elizabeth Warren continues to panic over John Deaton running against her. She continues to send multiple emails begging for donations, and this comes as Coinbase and A16Z continue to donate to the crypto super PAC. This is huge news. We're going to break it down and much more. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Thinking Crypto podcast, your home for cryptocurrency news and interviews. If you are new here, please hit that subscribe button as well as the thumbs up button and leave a comment below. If you're listening on a podcast platform such as Spotify or Apple, please leave a 5-star rating and review. It supports the podcast and it doesn't cost you anything. Well, folks, huge news. Social media giant Reddit says they have invested excess cash reserves in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Matic. This is huge crypto adoption news. Folks, we know MicroStrategy is leading the charge with Bitcoin on their balance sheet. Tesla and SpaceX also hold Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And now you have Reddit putting Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Matic. It's amazing what's happening, and I expect this trend to continue. It absolutely makes sense if they have excess cash, and we are dealing with high inflation and the debasement of the fiat currency. You want to put it in assets that can grow over time, and we see that Bitcoin and Ethereum have been some of the top performing assets in the entire market. Specifically, Bitcoin has been the top performing asset over the past 10 years. So it absolutely makes sense. Now, this was confirmed in Reddit's SEC S1 filing. Let me read a quick excerpt of this filing so you hear directly from the horse's mouth. Here's the headline within this document. We hold cryptocurrencies and experiment with blockchain technology, which may subject us to exchange risk and additional tax, legal, and regulatory requirements. We invested some of our excess cash reserves in Bitcoin and Ether, and also acquired Ether and Matic as a form of payment for sales of certain virtual goods, which we may continue to do in the future. Ether and Matic received from the sales of virtual goods are not material for years ended December 31st, 2022 and 2023. We also acquired and hold digital assets that are cryptocurrencies for use by our product and engineering teams, which is limited to specific use cases or uses, I should say. Folks, incredible adoption. This is what you want to see as we invest in this new asset class, right? And I expect more companies are going to do this as they see what's happening in the macro with inflation and all the other things that are going on with the debasement of fiat currencies. They will add Bitcoin and crypto to their balance sheet. It absolutely makes sense. So this is a huge signal. Expect game theory to play out here. It wouldn't surprise me if Facebook decide to do this and the other platforms, right? I believe Twitter X, which Elon calls it X now, I believe they hold some Bitcoin on their balance sheet, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Elon called their CFO the master of coin or something like that. So incredible adoption of crypto, folks. Now, today you had the European Central Bank spread incredible FUD about Bitcoin. I'm sure some of you saw it. They said Bitcoin has failed to become a global decentralized digital currency, instead falling victim to fraud and manipulation. The recent approval of an ETF doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin is costly, slow, and inconvenient, argues the ECB blog. Now, this is grade A propaganda from a central bank which prints unlimited fiat currencies and debases their currency, right? It's very convenient. But what was interesting, they got wrecked by the community notes on Twitter because they tweeted this out. And of course, a ton of people replying. It's unbelievable. But then later on, just a few hours later, look what broke. Breaking news, the European Central Bank has announced its first annual loss for almost 2 decades, right on schedule. Here's a quote: policymakers will carry forward 1.3 billion euro annual deficit to offset against future profits for the first time in its history. So you're bashing Bitcoin, yet you are operating at a loss and you continue to debase your currency. This is why financial education is important. You don't fall for this nonsense propaganda and you diversify into other assets. In fact, you want to put a lot of your money in assets, not just crypto, real estate, stocks, and so forth, because as they debase the currency, we see that the assets rise, right? As they increase the money supply, you look at the M2 global liquidity money supply, and you look at assets, is there high correlation with that? So this is, once again, why financial education is so important. Now, folks, we got news here that Kraken Exchange is fighting back against the SEC. As you all know, Kraken had settled with the SEC over the staking situation. They thought they were fine, but what did Gary Gensler do? Another scumbag move. He went back and sued them. Now Kraken is saying, you know what? We're taking the gloves off. They are suing the SEC, and this comes right after yesterday's news of Legilex, right? We talked about yesterday in yesterday's podcast. Legilex and the Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas filed a lawsuit against the SEC asking for clarity. Now, Kraken today is filing a lawsuit. Coinbase is, of course, suing the SEC, and I hope other exchanges jump in here. I hope other crypto firms and exchanges jump in and sue the hell out of the SEC. Sometimes the only way to beat a bully is to beat that bully up. And I think the industry needs to come together, because we see Gary Gensler and the SEC have no allegiance to the law. They've been called arbitrary and capricious by the courts. The judges have threatened to sanction SEC lawyers who lied in the debt box case, right? It's unbelievable. We're dealing with scumbags. And this is why I call Gary Gensler a scumbag regulator. This is not someone who cares about the law and the rules. He doesn't want to abide by them. He wants to attack the crypto industry and kill crypto startups so his Wall Street buddies can take over. This is why you don't see BlackRock, Fidelity, and these big names getting Wells notices, but you get crypto exchanges getting attacked, right, folks? So Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business reported the following. She said, Kraken Exchange fights back. The U.S.'s second largest crypto exchange has filed a motion asking a Northern California court to dismiss the SEC's case, which alleges the company is operating as an unregistered securities exchange broker, dealer, and clearing agency. A Kraken spokesperson told Fox Business, today we filed a motion asking the court to dismiss the SEC's case against Kraken. The law is clear. None of the assets in the SEC's complaint constitute investment contracts, and Kraken is not a securities exchange. The SEC's case rests on an expansive new theory that would effectively securitize a broad range of ordinary assets and commodities. In the SEC's view, essentially any commercial artifact that can rise or fall in value could be an investment contract. This approach would permit the SEC to commandeer expansive new authority over the U.S. economy, just as Congress is debating how that authority should be allocated among federal agencies. Today, we ask the court to hand this power back to Congress where it belongs. Love it. I love it. And once again, I want more crypto companies to do this because it will tie up the entire SEC legal department. Not only that, it's going to be horrible PR and optics for the SEC because Gary's losing in court, and then you have all these crypto companies suing you. That's not a good look. And then it's an election year for Biden. Gensler is a Biden Democrat appointed person or chair, right? So it's not going well for him and Elizabeth Warren, who is his handler, who she's, of course, being handled by the banks and TradFi incumbents. That's what's been happening here, folks. So this is really great news. Like I said in yesterday's podcast, I've been calling for the industry to do this since the Ripple lawsuit, not only myself, John Deaton, and others. And now the industry is finally waking up that you're not dealing with someone who's fair and balanced, someone who respects the law. You're dealing with a scumbag, and you got to go on the offensive. So I love this. This is great. So like I said, yesterday, Legilex and the Crypto Freedom Alliance of Texas, they filed a lawsuit against Gary and the SEC. So this is really great. Now, folks, quick word from our sponsor, and that is Uphold. Uphold is one of the top crypto platforms out there. They have 260 plus cryptocurrencies. You can buy Bitcoin and all the top altcoins. You can also trade precious metals such as gold, silver, palladium, and platinum. They have stable coins. They support a lot of fiat currencies. They're available in over 150 countries. I've been using them since 2018. And best of all, folks, they are fully transparent. They have reserves. They don't commingle or lend out your funds. You can go review their audits and transparency reports. And in fact, today they launched a new product called Uphold Baskets. It's your one-click solution for crypto diversification, launching with the big three: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP. Infrastructure coins such as ETH, AVAX, Atom, DOT, Link, and Quant. future of blockchain, which includes Near, Sol, and others. So this is a great way to diversify. It creates these baskets that you can, of course, buy. So if you'd like to learn more about Uphold, check out the link in the description. All right, folks, we continue to see Elizabeth Warren panic. Folks, Fox Business is reporting she is in panic mode. They're sending out multiple emails to donors asking for donations. Help us, help us. John Deaton is running against us. In fact, she's also rallying other Democrats, for example, Chris Murphy out of Connecticut, to help assist. Folks, I smell fear. I smell panic. It's amazing what is happening. She's sending out all these emails. Why do you think she's doing that, folks? It's like I've been saying, from the macro, the Democrats are not in a good spot. So she knows she's in a weakened state from a macro standpoint, right? And it's not so much the hardcore Democrats that are not going to vote for her. It's the independents who can easily be swayed, who are going to look at this and say, yeah, this person is no good. And then you have the crypto voters who absolutely hate her because she's positioned herself as the anti-crypto army leader. So it's not good for her in the state of Massachusetts. She's panicking, and we're going to continue to amplify. We're going to continue to donate. Here, James Loop, who is the co-founder and CTO of CASA, he tweeted out today, I made the maximum allowed donation to support John Deaton's Senate campaign because it's time to turn up the heat against Liz Warren. Warren is an enemy of Bitcoin and an enemy of freedom. I urge all who are capable to help fill John's war chest. To put my decision in context, I do not make political donations regularly. It's been 10 years since my last political donation when Jared Polis became the first member of Congress to accept Bitcoin. See what's happening here? Everybody's coming out the woodworks because they hate Elizabeth Warren. Anybody in crypto, I guarantee you it's 99%, if not 100% of crypto investors hate Elizabeth Warren because of the stance she's taken, because of what her and her gimp, Gary Gensler, have been doing. So this is why Elizabeth Warren is afraid. Not only that, this thing is getting a lot of mainstream coverage. Look at this, Boston.com. Look at the headline they put out there. Elizabeth Warren is vulnerable to challenger John Deaton, readers say. Here's why. Look at that headline. Right? It's not that, oh, some small time guy is trying to run up against Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren is vulnerable. This is from Boston.com. This is a big publication local to Massachusetts, of course, but a lot of visibility. Again, she's scared. And here's the big one. Coinbase A16Z boosts super PAC donations as U.S. Senate races intensified. Affiliated super PACs Fairshake, Protect Progress, and Defend American Jobs had raked in a collective $84.8 million by the end of 2023 filing show. Folks, this number is going to grow. It's going to grow. This is why Elizabeth Warren is afraid. She's not dealing with just some random Joe Schmo here. There's an entire industry that's going to back John Deaton. And we've seen historically, there's been a lot of tribalism in crypto, but I guarantee you this issue, everyone will align on, and that is to get Gary Gensler out, get Elizabeth Warren out, right? I think we can all agree with that. If you're a Bitcoin maximalist or you're whatever maximalist, we can all agree this is the enemy, the final boss of crypto that we have to take out. So she's panicking, folks, and I think we can all see why. We also have a lot of pro-crypto folks in Congress, many who have called out Elizabeth Warren and Gary Gensler, like Tom Emmer. And here, Tom Emmer, he calls out the Biden administration, saying they are abusing their power to target Bitcoin miners. So you have all these folks going on the offensive as well. And I'm waiting for Patrick McHenry to see if he can get these bills through the House. I hope he subpoenas Gary Gensler. That would be the icing on the cake. It would be amazing to see that happen. All right, let's move ahead. Nate Garaci, president of the ETF store, is reporting that Grayscale has filed for a privacy ETF, index-based, and would track the COS involved in the data security and protection, cybersecurity products and services, inclusive of blockchain-based technology solutions, etc. Would also hold Grayscale Zcash Trust. So Zcash is a privacy coin. He says, in my opinion, smart move for Grayscale to expand the ETF lineup. So this is interesting. Here, Eleanor Terrett of Fox Business is reporting that the CBOE has filed a 19B-4 on behalf of Franklin Templeton for the firm's Ether spot ETF. Franklin Templeton filed its S1 application with the SEC last Monday. So the Ethereum ETF race is heating up just like it did for Bitcoin. And you got all these TradFi giants like Franklin Templeton. And if you haven't seen my interview with Sandy Call of Franklin Templeton, guys, check out that interview. She's super smart and you get an insight into what this $1.5 trillion asset manager is looking to do with crypto. They're doing stuff with Stellar. They're doing tokenization. It's amazing. They're building a crypto wallet. Guys, you go watch that interview. But it's incredible what's happening, right? Despite all the nonsense we're dealing with Gensler and Elizabeth Warren, TradFi is going all in on crypto. Now, speaking of Stellar Lumens, here we got news that Stellar Spark's contract upgrade, and it's not an EVM. A bespoke smart contract layer, Soraban, is online after years of development. Now, I had interviewed a gentleman from the Stellar Foundation about maybe 6 months ago, and we talked about this. So this smart contract feature is live on Stellar, which is really great. So validators of the Stellar network voted Tuesday to upgrade Stellar mainnet to Protocol 20, which introduces the Soraban smart contract platform. The addition of smart contracts follows years of planning for Stellar, which has been known primarily for payments as it seeks to compete with a plethora of smart contract ecosystems. The Stellar community aims to differentiate Soraban by emphasizing a combination of its efficiency, focused use cases, and integration with Stellar's existing infrastructure. So great news if you are an XLM token holder. I have some XLM in my portfolio, not a lot, but I'm diversified. I bought it cheap years ago and certainly waiting for new highs and will be taking profits. But this is big. I'm going to try to get some folks back from Stellar on the podcast to talk about this. Now, we got news that Hong Kong official plots rules for stablecoins, crypto OTC services. The government is already mulling public commentary on proposals. Folks, look past the name Hong Kong and remember who is controlling Hong Kong. That is China. China has done a 180. They are looking to expand their adoption of crypto in multiple ways, and they've opened up retail trading. They've opened up financing. I remember China, I think it was Shanghai, they released a Web3 white paper last year. There's a lot of things happening. There were reports that Hong Kong wants to issue a Bitcoin spot ETF as well. So I think that's coming this year, if not early next year. There's a lot of capital in Hong Kong. It's the kind of the New York of the Asian world, where you have a financial district and tons of capital and investment money, folks. So globally, we are seeing a move towards crypto and the regulation, right? They're not killing it. They're not banning it. They're just regulating it, and it is here to stay. So Hong Kong Financial Services Secretary Christopher Hu reiterated that lawmakers intend to propose legislation on stablecoins and virtual asset over-the-counter trading services. Hu said that as part of proposed legislation on OTC services, virtual asset service providers may be required to be licensed by the Commissioner of Customs and Excise. The proposals would cover all OTC services, irrespective of whether the services are provided through a physical outlet and or other platforms, providing powers for the CCE to supervise the anti-money laundering conduct of licensees and enforce the statutory and regulatory requirements under the new regime, and provide transitional arrangement to facilitate the effective implementation of the regulatory regime. Folks, I hope you see what is happening here, not just in the US, but globally. The move towards crypto adoption. And of course, they're going to regulate it. And of course, they're going to tax it, right? They want their cut. They want their tax revenue. And look, we do need regulations. We need to watch out for bad guys, the scammers, the Sam Bankman-Frieds. And, look, this happens in every asset class. So just look at Bernie Madoff. That man scammed a ton of people in a fully mature, regulated market. He scammed a ton of rich people and Wall Streeters, right? And this can happen. So we got to put the guardrails in place. But the point is, they're not killing this thing. Once again, it's here to stay. You can participate. And the regulations are actually going to help bring in a ton more capital, because it's going to allow wealthy and institutional investors to feel confident to participate. So we do, of course, have to make sure the regulations are balanced. They're not draconian. Don't get me wrong, right? We have to push back where things don't make sense. Like here in the United States, you have clowns like Elizabeth Warren trying to put certain regulations in place for DeFi where it's not possible, right? So we do have to push back, but we're headed in the right direction. So exciting times ahead. Folks, quick word from VeChain, which is one of the sponsors. I'm a holder of the VeChain token in full transparency. I have been since 2018. I believe in this project. VeChain is one of the top enterprise grade layer one platforms. They are looking to solve real world problems, working with enterprises to do tracing and trackability, supply chain management, and a bunch of sustainability projects and use cases. So I'm bullish on this project, and that's why I accepted and asked them to be a sponsor on this podcast, because I'm a holder of the token. I believe in it, and I've done my research, and we all saw the VeChain token was doing really well just last week. So I'm anticipating new all-time highs this market cycle. And VeChain has a lot of great capabilities and functions. Its energy consumption is really low compared to other blockchains. It has top level of speed and security. So they're getting a lot of enterprises to work with them. And I'm sure many of you have seen the top names over the years, some very big brands. So if you'd like to learn more about VeChain, go to vchain.org. The link will be in the description. Check them out and to learn more about this great blockchain project. Well, folks, that's the news. Let me know what you think. Leave your thoughts and comments below. Hit the thumbs up button. Also, hit the 5-star rating on the podcast platform. A free way to support the podcast, folks, is to please sign up for my free email newsletter on Substack. Link in the description. Also, follow us on Twitter, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. All the links are in the description. Thank you for your support. Thank you for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you all later.